Happy Carb Sober Sunday to you all. Thanks for joining in. I am so glad to be here and hopefully just impart some of the knowledge that I have gained over the years of my 16 years of carnivore. And I am I'm so grateful to be in this spot. I feel that I wish I had found it so much earlier in my life. And I kind of laugh now because I thought that back then when I found it. And I thought, gosh, if I had only found this in my 20s. And now, where I'm at now, I still think that. I wish I would have found this so much earlier and could have been relieved of so many issues and problems that I suffered through my food, carb, sugar addiction that made me really pretty miserable. And so I'm going to say that I'm grateful that you're here. I am going to try to do another sticker giveaway. So I am going to have you put in the chat hashtag here. I'm going to put it up. Here, hashtag meat over in the chat, and then I'm gonna do a one of those fancy giveaway things if I can pull it off again. And then I'll let you pick which sticker you want. You're gonna just send me an email, and I will put my email in the chat here. Let's see, shift. There we go. All right. So I have my email there for any communication and also for any of the sticker winners to get in touch with me. Good morning, Neil. So glad you all are coming in here. I put out over on Instagram a question block for an Ask Me Anything. So I'm going to start off with one that I got, and this is an important one to think about. I have been on keto more than a year, but I left it because I was in Italy 4 years ago and had the best ice cream in the world. I believe they call it, what do they call it? Gelato over there. Came back home and impossible since to get back on keto. Gained back 20 kilos. I think that's, I don't know, isn't that like, 40 pounds-ish? I am a sugar addict, etc. Cortisol is bad, etc. Please advise. Yeah, there goes the conversation about abstinence and giving ourselves permission and feeling just one bite is okay. And just depends on where you're at with things. There might be some of you who can go to Italy, have your gelato, and come back and get right back on track. I'll say there's probably many, many, many more who can't do that and don't end up doing that. They get into that carb ditch, and addictions are progressive and they worsen over time. And I don't know if you've felt similarly, but as you fall into the ditch, we tend over time to go deeper into the ditch, and it tends to get harder and harder to climb out of that ditch. So I don't know, comment if you have noticed that same type of scenario, but it's a very, very real thing. I'll get the flip side of people who write and say, you got to enjoy life. You got to live. And to me, being in the position that this person is in is not enjoying life. And the point of, you could say that's that JOMO, joy of missing out. uh, because I don't want to be in that spot ever again. And I know time and time again what keeps having put me in that spot. I've had thousands of day ones. Back when I figured out that it was flour and sugar back in the paleo days, um, I realized I could easily binge on dried apricots, even though it's whole foods and it's healthy fruit. I learned over time very specifically that this girl does not tolerate much in the way of what people consider celebratory foods. I tolerate none of them as far as feeling I have sober behavior around them. I just don't. And yeah, could it be a sad realization that I will never be normal around certain foods and events that involve grand displays of, in my mind, toxic foods that I don't really even want to put in my body? So we have to change the dialogue in our head. Yeah, maybe grieve a little, have a funeral for our friends. Uh, but those friends that we used to consider friends, that we used to sit on the couch and numb ourselves and kind of escape, we're not friends at all. And there's no joy in that. Even when you could say, well, what about when you are, in perfect example, people will say, once in a lifetime trip to Italy, you mean I'm not going to indulge in what, the gelato or the pastries in France, or fill in the blank with whatever it is. And you could segue that into any vacation. I'm on a cruise, I'm going to enjoy the unlimited food. That's not, to me, enjoyment. You have to really think about what the implications are for that momentary bit of pleasure that is last seconds to a minute. And then again, most of the time, most of us are off the rails. Well, I had this and I was fine. So it segues into, well, gotta go over to that specialty pizza place now. And, it just goes on and on. So yeah, it all starts with stopping. So that's what I have to say to this person is, um, there's no way around it. And the beginning part really is excruciatingly difficult. And I would not be able to be where I am right now with having not had, if I had not had a supportive group. That I was in that zeroing in on health group way back when it was just a forum on the internet. And so think about just gathering into a group. I have so many that are in my group right now that are so excited. Some now have 60 days, and we'll call it sobriety, abstinence from the garbage carbs that they had been continually going in and out of. And we have a Team Sober messaging 24/7 over on WhatsApp, so that there's continual contact. And you can use it for whatever. Declare your food for the day, declare your abstinence for the day, talk about struggles you have coming up, talk about successes that you've had with a food event that would have sent you spiraling in the past. So all that to say is, I strongly suggest, and there's lots of free groups just over on Facebook where you can, type in and get support. But I go one-on-one live 4 or 5 times a week and have discussions and gather together to talk about all these different types of things. All right, I'm going to go to a couple other questions. Somebody asked And feel free to put questions over in the chat because I decided to make this just a fun, interactive Q&A and discussion with all of you. Thanks for joining. Um, here, if the only joy you have is through food, you need to rearrange your priorities. Yeah. But I get it. In certain situations with certain people, food is very central to our celebrations, our socializations, our connections, and food is integral. So, I understand it, but it also has to be understood if you have an issue with food that can no longer be where you gather your joy from. And it's tough though because we're always surrounded by others who are partaking and pushing and suggesting and where are we going, what are we having, what are we eating. So much surrounds food. Okay, somebody wrote here to me, asked what's my favorite meat. I guess I could just throw out there beef. I'm, I eat mainly beef, but I like all meat. I'm trying to think if there's a meat I actually dislike. I've even eaten venison, but it's mainly been just ground venison mixed with beef. um, I've had rabbit. Um, mm, Not such a great fan of that, but still nothing that anything's been so distasteful that I would say, yeah, I'm not eating that again. So I guess true carnivore through and through. Um, Another question, I'm going to try to hit all of the ones who wrote in here in the Instagram question. Have you experienced oxalate dumping and what to do to prevent? So fortunately for me, no. And somehow I don't understand how, because boy, did I love almonds. Boy, could I binge on almonds. I didn't think it was a binge at the time. Of course, almonds are healthy and, or so I thought at the time. But yeah, but I never did almond milk and almond smoothies and all that, but I did eat quite a bit of almonds. I used to eat quite a bit of spinach salads back when I was trying to do the low fat, eat a huge bowl of salad because that was really the only way I could control my calories. And but again, fortunate I didn't go into juicing and have a huge amount of oxalates, so I didn't have the oxalate dumping. But for those of you who are feeling that that is your situation, I just have to hand this over to Sally Norton. She's the oxalate dumping queen. She's um, full on, really knowledgeable, wrote the book, Toxic Superfoods. She's got tons of presentations on YouTube. And I suggest just digging into that because there's far more knowledge there that you'll get. But my quick answer is just know that if you are experiencing oxalate dumping, there is a remedy of that she uses where you actually continue to do a little bit of oxalate foods like pepper or tea to quiet down the strength of the reaction as you are detoxing off of the oxalates. So I don't think there's anything you can do to outright just prevent it. So learn about it and start experimenting with different suggestions that she has. Are pork, chicken, duck, quail, and turkey proper human diet appropriate? Yes, absolutely. Said if it once had a mother, it's on the list. um, you don't want to have a diet full on only chicken, not as nutrient dense as beef and lamb, but certainly has its place in a varied diet and allows also for situations where you might want to do throw in some PSMF days, protein sparing modified fast. Uh, there's It's very difficult to do that without seafood and poultry. And I'm going to be experimenting with that myself coming up because I have so many people who question about the PSMF. How many days in a row? How many days a week? Is it really effective in dropping fat? And so I am going to, because nothing like just doing your own experience with it. And I have dabbled a little bit in it. I have, uh, I'm at a point where I can tell you that because questions come in about I'm eating carnivore, I'm following the rules, whether it's BBBE, eat until you're full, eat until you're not hungry, all of these things come about. And people saying, I'm gaining weight. I'm putting weight on. And I thought you weren't supposed to be able to put on weight. And back in the days of my early forum connections and what we spoke about, it was more talked about with meat and water only, that your body would get to its proper, lean, metabolically healthy body weight. And if that meant gaining weight for people who were underweight or losing weight for people who were overweight. But I will say, from my experience of coming from volume eating disorder, disordered eating, full on massive food, carb, sugar addiction, I can put on weight with carnivore. I can put on weight, and it's not so easy to take it off once you're in menopause as a woman. And so, yeah, so my situation is I have kept uh, trying different things. I know that dairy is not my friend when it comes to weight loss. Um, I have, I fluctuate in weight, and uh, I can tell you that it's really important to understand for yourself what foods, even carnivore foods, that you do and don't have sober behavior around. Do you overeat pork rinds? Do you have too much of your yogurt, or your fill in the blank? And for me, something as simple as bacon, and I've brought this up a lot. I make a pound of bacon. It's hard for me to not go through that pound of bacon. I know people say, well, you just make 3 slices. Oh, 3 slices shrinks to this. And I'm like, where's the rest of my food? And yeah, it's partly, my thought process. I don't know what it is, but yes, I'm at the point where I do want to reduce my body fat percentage. And um, in do I have body image issues? Yes, probably, but I do know what is a healthy body fat percentage and what is athletic. And for women, that's definitely below 25. And ideally, I'd really like to get my body fat down to 20%. And I am far from that right now, and I'm gonna be doing some. I don't want to call it experimenting. I am going to be doing some protocols to determine what does and does not work for me, and I'm going to share it. And I've done some before photos so that as time goes on, and I I'll be able to at least see the progress and whether it's doing some PSMF, because I know there's a lot of people out there that will start talking about, nope, it's all about the fat. Got to eat the fat. You got to eat high fat, moderate protein. This girl gains weight doing that. I've confirmed that experiment. And again, it might work for you, and you might be going along perfectly fine, in which case, la, 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 don't listen to me. Don't listen. I'm telling you from my experience. And, I know there's tons of conflicting information. Eat a stick of butter. Don't eat fat. You want to use your own body fat, right? Um, there's so much that can just start playing around with our heads of where do we go, what do we do, what do we eat. So I'm going to just be open and show you what I'm doing and what I'm eating. I am also going to do a reset with a dry fast. And it's not, I don't want people to think that all of this is just fanatical. I got to get down, to a twiggy state of body. It's not that at all. Dry fasting, well, fasting, but my preference is the dry fasting. If you've watched my videos, so much easier than water fasting, and so many benefits aside from the weight loss, stem cell regeneration, autophagy, decreased inflammation, clear, clear mind and thought processes, and reduced anxiety, reduced depression, reduced addictive behavior can come out of dry fasting. So again, I don't want people to think, well, now she's going crazy here trying to just, drop weight. I'm doing different things for different reasons, and I'm going to try to document it into a YouTube video, and that's where I'm at. I mean, I'm sure you see a lot of. Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to bring up too. Let me see if it was in one of these questions. Well, somebody had commented. Oh, and remember, you know what? I should have put. Hang on. Let me throw up a banner here. I was trying to do. Here, I'm just going to create a banner. It's going to be hashtag meat in the comments, hashtag meat in the chat for sticker. Sorry, guys. Should have been prepared with this for sticker giveaway. Okay. Did I do it? There we go. All right. Okay. So somebody commented, why am I still getting acne on a lion diet? And so this question is very complicated to just have an answer spit out. Why? Because there's so many factors that are involved in this. As far as how old are you? How long have you been treating your body like a garbage can? I did it for 44 years before I figured it out. And so the question comes up as, this isn't going to reverse everything really quickly. And people get frustrated because on social media, we see the Transformation Tuesday or whatever, Transformation Thursday. I don't know which one it is. And these success stories, my depression went away in the first 30 days, and my life changed and all this. You have to remember, these are the stories that come out there, because the stories of, I've been doing this for 6 months, and yes, my joint pain has gotten a lot better, but this and this and this and this, I'm still waiting, and I've put on 2 pounds, right? You don't hear those stories. You hear I'm just making up a percentage, but you hear the 2% that are so outspoken and so ecstatic because it happened quickly. But remember, the rest of us are in the 98% where I say it's like a big freighter that's been going along your whole life. And now you want to flip it on a dime, and it ain't happening. So you got to remember how slow and our bodies are really complex, intricate um, group of organ systems here that it doesn't happen quickly. And I say vitamin P for patience. And I do try to remind that what you're seeing on social media is a small percentage. And just be confident in the research you've done and your own initial experience. You've got to have certain things that I'm going to assume in the first 30, 60, 90 days are a light bulb moment of like, wow, this is good. Um, and go with it. Um, I've tried to be real through my whole journey. I tell you, I don't have those fabulous uh, I call them fabulous, you know, big me, split screen, look at me now, because I hid my addiction. All right. I was bulimic. I looked on the outside that everything was great, but I did not wear my addiction. I don't have these wonderful before and after pictures. I can only tell you that I would have been over 300 pounds with what I was doing. And those kind of patterns around food are really difficult to break. Lifelong patterns of turning to food to fill an emotional void, turning to food during times of stress or anxiety or procrastination or, you know, depression. And it's very difficult to and I say it's not like a light switch like it seems for many people. Like, I say like the Sean Bakers, Anthony Chaffee's, and Sean O'Mara's, and Dr. Kiltz's. Find out about carnivore, learn it, think it's a dang good idea to try, flip the switch, and off to the races and never look back. Whereas I'd say a majority of people who have had any, we'll just call it issue with their relationship with food, their path is like a friggin' roller coaster or a merry-go-round. And it's back and forth um, in the ditch, climb back out, lose 10, gain 15, you know, all of these type of situations that I'm going to say are the majority of people. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe some of you in here have had, and I feel people are the fortunate ones who have had such, and it sounds not right to say these are the fortunate ones, but such severe issues and problems that then reverse fairly quickly or fairly steadily. And those people, like Carrie Mann of Homestead How, not going to ever touch that stuff. They were close to suicide, had a bin full of antidepressant medications, ruining their family life over things, flip the switch and off to the races and never turning back. I'm going to say for what, again, this is just totally my guesstimate in my estimation, the majority of people, and a lot of it is from the feedback that I've gotten over these 16 years, are in and out of the ditch. I was in and out of the ditch, um, when I was low carb, paleo. I read Neanderthal, Schwarzbein principle. I kept trying to moderate fruit. I kept trying to think I could have ice cream once in a while with my family. I'd be full on back in the food again. So this is a perpetual issue. And I'll tell you, I still, and this is full disclosure on my part, um, and it really is very raw for me. Um, and I don't want to get choked up here, but um, I have, realized over time in my carnivore journey the tendency to turn to food still, binging on cheese, eating a pound of bacon, going through a whole bag of pork rinds dipped in sour cream, right? These are behaviors. This is not appropriate. I'm carnivore. I get hungry. I eat meat. I'm full. I stop. Is not that kind of behavior. And these kind of things, when you're in my position of that, and then you add to that someone who says, I'm just going to give myself permission. I deserve this on vacation. And then has a really, really tough time. The slope is slippery. And it's like having whatever roller skates on a downhill mega slide. And so, again, I am relaying my own personal journey and pains with this, um, and gaining some weight and saying, I got to do something about this. How do I figure this out? My member group, we have a book club, and we happen to be reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, about living in the moment and trying to really, the past and the guilt and the regrets that we have to be pretty much erased to be able to have gratitude in the moment. And so I don't know, a lot of different things are evolving for me in my journey. So uh, you're along for the ride if if you're interested. I'll be sharing more and more about my uh, struggle with creeping up weight in my I'm 60, and so this doesn't get easier. All right, I'm gonna see somebody so another this is the last one over from Instagram, and then I'm gonna just concentrate and dig in on your chat here. Is there anything you can do for eye bags? Ooh, that has these are always these questions where there's not like a great here's your answer, because there's so much involved. What's your inflammatory response going on in your body? Um, and I will just throw in, as far as different things specific to eye bags that I think might be beneficial from what I'm looking into, is I'm really digging into this whole red light therapy thing. I used to think, ooh, what are these woo-woo people in this red glow thing doing? And is there really something to it? And I have emphatically, through a lot of research, because I don't take anything lightly and I don't get into anything without really understanding why. There's definitely something to it. And in particular really interested in the ocular benefits with macular degeneration. But it goes way further than that. It goes way further than smoothing wrinkles, increasing collagen. There's so much to it. And so I'm actually started preparing a full-on video about it, because I want to get the information out there as far as the benefit to vision and eyesight and eye disease, but lots of other benefits. So I wouldn't doubt it for the eye bags too, but it's inflammation. And the under eye area, there's a periorbital area that can get swollen. But again, that has a lot. I mean, what's your sleep like? What's your circadian hygiene like? I like to call it circadian hygiene, putting natural light in, blocking junk light, just like we want natural food in, blocking junk food. It's equally important. All right. Remember to put hashtag meat over in the chat if you want to be included in the sticker giveaway. We've got Suck It Up Buttercup. Carb Sober Meat Addict. This is the one that I give out on my cruises. Eat Meat, Beach, Repeat, Carb Sober Cruise. And I have a regular Eat Meat, Beach, Repeat. And, oh, one more. Lift weights, eat steaks. So I have my email address over in the chat for a winner. All right. So I'm going to go over and check out the questions over here. Mei Ling says, I should check your website, but when are you hosting another carnivore retreat? Okay, so my website is under construction. I have no idea what's going on over my website right now because it is in limbo. I have hired somebody to help me because I have no skill set on websites, but I'm not so sure everything's on the website. I actually, here, I'm going to put the link to, is that going through? Yes. That website that I just put up is just an aside one that I have that lists the Carb Sober cruises that are coming up. And if you're going to Hack Your Health, there is a cruise the day after out of Tampa for 5 days. I have, I think, 25 people so far signed up. It's going to be really, really awesome. And okay, wait, let me finish answering Mei Ling here a second. So there is a retreat at Hack Your Health simultaneously with Hack Your Health that I don't think it's sold out. I think there might be 1 or 2 spots. There's a retreat that I will be attending in Mont-Tremblant, Canada. I'm going to be attending the Meat Stock retreat, but I think that one is sold out. And I am going to be doing an all-inclusive. I am so frustrated right now with trying to get this planned because I'm hitting a lot of roadblocks. I had one decided and then it looked like there was not much availability and I didn't want people to get blocked out, but possibly in Cancun, possibly in Dominican Republic. I'm thinking about doing a 6-day getaway. I'll call it a getaway because it's going to be really about coming together, staying carb sober on a trip together, eating unlimited meat, seafood, and eggs. That's why I love the cruises and the all-inclusives, because we should be able to get our fill of delicious carnivore foods. So that is what's up for the upcoming retreats. Okay. Let's see. Sometime. Mei Ling says, I need a one-on-one intervention. So yeah, so I actually do one-on-one coaching, and that can be very powerful for people and very helpful. And then, I highly recommend the member group to stay in touch and in contact and talk multiple times a week with me, asking questions and getting guidance. So please host a carnivore retreat getaway in the West Coast. I am thinking about Palm Springs or the San Diego area, but there's so much planning that goes into that I have right now been totally immersed in trying to get some things straightened out, but I will get on the planning of that. Let's see. About eyes. I have glaucoma and used to have high eye pressure and medication to lower it. Now on carnivore, eye pressure is normal. Yes. And I've been able to reduce the medication. So awesome. That's the goal, is get off meds. Our bodies are here to evolve and be in a healthy state. So just trust what you're doing and you see that it's working. All right. All right. Let me attempt to do the sticker giveaway, because I never know if this is going to work or not. And let's see. All right. Give you last minute, get hashtag meat into the chat if you want to be included in the sticker giveaway, or maybe you don't give a crap about stickers, and that's okay too. All right, let's put that here. And how do I do this now? Hang on. All right, I think it's working. And Christina is coming up the winner. So Christina, I have in this chat, if you scroll back, Dr. Lisa at carbsoberlife.com is the email address. Send your preferred sticker and your full name and address, and I will get that mailed out. I'm going to do another sticker pull because it's fun. I think it's fun. I love giving away stuff, and on the other end of it, I love getting stuff. So this is cool. I get to give stuff. All right. And if you could, over in the chat, when you're asking a specific question, I've noticed in other videos, people do QQQ and then write their question so that I can pick it out easier than scrolling through all the comments. Papa Carnivore says, Anna, did the runny nose correlate to when you added the dairy yogurt? If so, this could be the problem. Folks don't do well with liquid dairy. Yeah, many people actually don't do well with dairy at all. And many of us don't like to admit that. But I think I think a really good thing to do is Lion Diet. Give yourself, I know it's overwhelming to think, but so say I'm going to do 30 days. I like to say do a 90-day, really tough, especially with social situations and all, but do 30 days. Hardest thing for most people is giving up the dang coffee. That's a whole nother topic. But ruminant meat, salt water, you will find out really quickly about what you react to by eliminating it. And the other thing is, if you want to get inflammation down and symptoms down, try a dry fast. Do 24 hours first. Just get your feet wet or dry. That's not a good analogy. And then go for 36. And it is very powerful in getting inflammation down. And I think it's worthwhile to try. We can do hard things, right? All right, let me go up and I'm still looking through. Thank you, Papa Carnivore, for your comment there. I hope to, sometimes, like at the beginning of when I came onto social media about 5 years ago with this, it was very difficult for me to be very vulnerable with what, we call shortcomings, like to admit that I don't have control over a lot of different types of food. But the beautiful thing is they aren't essential foods, and it's a matter of really abstaining. But it was hard for me because it's a little humiliating and it's a little embarrassing to publicly talk about your troubles, your faults, your struggles. But I found it so rewarding to do so when I got feedback from so many of you about how helpful it had been to hear somebody talk about secretive eating and binging solo. And I say, addictions love isolation, and I never binged in front of anybody. So it's very secretive, and it's very difficult to live that way. So if I can help one person out of the hellhole I was in, this is all worth it. Um, let's see. All right. You know what? I'm going to do another. Why don't we do another sticker pull? So do hashtag meat, and then I will see if I can get back to the rest of the questions. Let me go. Draw again. Here we go. Bev is the winner. Okay, Bev, you will need to send your name and address and selection of sticker to Dr. Lisa at carbsoberlife.com. All right. Let me see if there's any other questions. Let's read this one. Papa Carnivore says, when keto could not moderate things like nuts, dark chocolate, berries, diet sodas and drinks, dried apricots. Yeah, how about macadamia nuts? Let's talk about that, right? The king of keto, high-fat nuts, right? I could eat the whole dang bag. And then when you go carnivore and you eliminate all of those, yeah. And that's why, I feel that many people who are on keto into the whole keto world, right? Who end up stalling, regaining, stagnating, have to realize that the mimicking foods of what you used to binge on, and also the taste of sweet, tends to cause all those issues. And, I could say I could even make those carnivore chaffles, right? It's for half a cup of shredded mozzarella with an egg whipped in there. And even just that, forget about when you add some equipped protein, salted caramel, or, chocolate protein isolate mix in there, and then you make a chaffle out of it, right? I want to eat 10 of them. So there's the issue, and any other keto treat or, you know, it's it is mimicking of a prior. Now, somebody could say, "Well, it's damage control, so choose your battles, and it's better than that." But it very quickly you'll realize that what you're aiming for is peace and freedom around food, not to be drawn to overeat, binge on even these keto things. So it's tough. It's a tough, but that's why I like that sober circles I have. There's green, yellow, and red sober circles. And you have to put in your relationship with different foods. The green circle really just gets ruminant meat. And for me, so you put anything in there that you have total sober behavior around. Like for me, shrimp. I never binge on shrimp. Scallops, sardines for sure go in the green circle. That means I can eat them unlimited and know for sure I will have no issue with overeating. And then the yellow, that cautionary circle, is you have to think long and hard about different things. Like for me, bacon's in there. I don't keep bacon in my house anymore. I eat bacon on a burger when I'm at a restaurant. Why? Portion control. And even cheese, I've always still allowed out. And, things like coffee and heavy cream, they might be in your yellow. Some people have kicked them out into their red and have noticed such huge benefit from, and you got to reassess these things. Okay. Thanks, Papa Carnivore, for watching out for me. I don't even understand what hitting the like button does to the algorithm, but I'm hoping that it helps YouTube to want to spread the word and get the video out to more people. But I know these live Q&A things don't really spread far and wide. I do them because I like the connection I have with you all, and I love that there's quite a few of you who join in every Sunday morning, and it brings me joy. So, um, but thanks. I don't know. Yeah, like, subscribe. I'm supposed to say all these cool buzzwords, I guess, but bottom line, I just want to help people and do it as best I can. Wow. So, yeah, comment how long you've stayed steady out there. Papa Carnivore's 27 months on May 1st, coming up a few days here. Let's see. So Anthony says food and sports is his downfall. So maybe the eating of foods during sports, like, I don't know, it could be chicken wings, I guess, during a football game, but I'm guessing it's a further detrimental situation than just chicken wings during a football game. All right, we got a question here. Cramps after 3.5-day dry fast after I broke the fast with ground beef. What did you eat after yours the first 3 days or so? Okay, so for somebody who's newer to dry fasting and maybe only done a few little short ones, and then maybe you do a longer 3.5 day is a decent amount. So after the 72-hour point is when incrementally larger benefits start happening. So getting past 72 is very commendable. So 3.5 days, great. Because remember, a day of dry fasting is equivalent to 3 days of water fasting on the benefits of your ketones, your glucose, your autophagy, your stem cell regeneration. But back to the question here, after you broke the fast with ground beef. Okay, break the fast. This is in my experience, just with bone broth. And I did mine. I would get my bone broth to a mild rolling boil in my pan, and then I would whip an egg and slowly whisk it into there while I'm spinning. So you get that egg drop soup effect. I just broke it with egg in a bone broth, and that tends to do better for me than what I want to do is jump into ground beef, which that's what I want to do. I want to eat 3 burgers at that point. But I find it works so much better for me to do bone broth with that whisked in egg. I even did it. I whisked one egg in, and then I took another egg, cracked it, and plopped it in there and poached it in the bone broth for, I think it only takes like 4 minutes of that. Put the whole thing into a nice bowl and enjoyed that. It's hard though, because the temptation is like, yeah, I really want to eat, but that's what I do. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my upcoming dry fast. As far as how many days, I try to not declare it because I really go by reading my body and how I feel, but I am going to shoot for 5, and I'm hoping for 4. 4 is where it has become more of a breaking point. I've done 4.5, where I started sipping water to make it to 5 on one other time, and that was last year. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to, it's hard for me to scan through all of the commentary. Okay, let me pull this one over. Tried Lion for 3 weeks, but found missed having more variety. Eggs, butter, chicken, pork, seafood. Feel great with clean carnivore, sometimes pickles, sauerkraut, and avocado. Yeah, so it really comes down to figuring out what works well for you. And for many people, the beauty of limiting down to lion becomes really freeing. And it does for me because I have a lot of food noise. And I literally, if I make 18 chicken wings, I can eat 18 chicken wings. I know that just sounds crazy. I'm, 5'3". What am I doing eating 18 chicken wings? I want to eat more. So what happens on Lion is it's basically down to I do ground beef, ground lamb, whatever steaks are on sale during the time that I'm doing my Lion, and I find such freedom from that. And so that's where I keep tending to, but I get it. Variety for many is really important and it works really well. So you have to just keep going along and figuring out for yourself how you handle different foods. Um, I love seeing comments like this. My interval walking video a few weeks ago has been a game changer for you and your wife. That just touches my heart. I've had people messaging me about it. I love seeing this comment because this is one of those things where I feel like, dang, it's just like carnivore, where I said, I wish I'd known about this so much earlier. I love this so much. I can't even tell you. It's not laborious. It's not something I dread. It's not something that I'm like, yeah, I don't know how long I can keep this up. I love the fact that it's the 30 minutes. I don't have to think to myself, well, crap, I'm getting out for 8 or 10,000 steps. I don't have time. I'm not going to do it at all. I love it. So thank you for commenting that. I really love getting the feedback from you all of what things you like that I'm sharing. Okay. And Angie's loving the interval walking too. And she's a big time walker. She walks like over 25,000 steps a day. I'm remembering. And the interval walking is just, I feel like it's just leveling up. Just kind of how I feel like lion diet is a bit of a level up from carnivore. Carnivore is a level up from keto. This interval walking, it's more of an effort, but not in a real difficult way. I'm going to start adding in my weighted vest on my interval walking more frequently. Sometimes I forget about it, and it's so easy just to whip outside and start walking. Yeah, and so Lou also loving the interval walking. Cracking playlist is awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm loving it. Yep, dry fasting works well. Check Dr. August Dunning's book, The Phoenix Protocol. And Dr. Sergey Filanov from Russia is really a very well-known big-time expert in dry fasting, and he hosts dry fasting retreats out in Montenegro. And he has a couple books available on Amazon. Filanov, Filonov. Let's see. I think you were successful before with your repetitive meal method. Seems easier and saner. Yes, we could say we could dictate a repetitive meal, stick just with that. Easier and saner than dry fasting. It's a whole different thing. And the dry fasting for a whole different reason. Some people hate fasting, don't want to do fasting. That's fine. You'll live a healthy, happy life with zero fasting. I, just being a analytical nerd, I like to look into specific benefits that are coming available as far as understanding what's happening in our bodies during the dry fast, where our body makes endogenously within our body, takes the fat cells and creates water to make up for the dehydration that we put our body through during it. And yeah, I'm just, like I said, it's one of those things. Just do your own experiences. Do take what you want, leave the rest. Um, okay. And Body by Beef says, what EMR Tech red light therapy unit do I have? So I have the Fire Dragon. Um, I'm gonna do, like I said, a whole video concentrating red light information with vision and eye health to start out with, just because I really want to get that information. I'm gonna have my red light unit here and show reasons why you don't want to just grab any willy-nilly red light unit made in China off of Amazon, because it's very important, the wavelength of light that comes off of it, the red and the infrared wavelengths, and the flicker rate. You want a unit with very low flicker rate, low EMF, and all that's really important. So those are the things, like I said, I really try to spend a lot of time looking into before I make a big purchase like this. And oh wow, we're already over the hour. The units are really, really solid, metal, heavy, quality. These things aren't breaking in a year or two. These things are, I mean, when you look at it on a cost per session factor, I feel it's well worth it. I mean, the units probably go anywhere from $299 to $2,000 or $3,000 for these big, long, full body things. I just have, one where, I can direct it toward my face. I can sit Indian style in front of it and get most of my body. But I'll go into all of that and about the time of day, the amount of time to do it and all that. So, all right, I got to jump off here. Thank you so much for joining. Remember the sticker winners to message me and tell me which sticker, and catch you guys next time.